You know that feeling, right? When you want to say something, but the words just get stuck. Well, today we're going to tackle a fear that holds so many of us back, the fear of making a mistake when we speak.
So if you've ever just kept quiet, worrying about some little grammar rule, or trying to find that one perfect word, you are definitely not alone. It's a feeling that can stop anyone, language learners, even native speakers, right in their tracks.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the communication puzzle, then try to navigate the language labyrinth. We'll look at what it means to be paralyzed by perfection, hear a tale of two mindsets, and wrap up with some real, practical tactics for confident speaking.
Okay, let's dive right in. Before we can even begin to deal with our fear of speaking, we kind of need to understand what we're actually trying to do when we communicate in the first place.
So at its very core, it's not about being perfect. It's just about a successful exchange. The goal is simply to get your idea from your head into someone else's. That's it. Notice what's missing from that definition: the word perfect.
And every single time you talk to someone, these three things are in play. There's you, the speaker. There's your audience, the person you're trying to connect with. And of course, there's your message. Real communication is just a balancing act between all three.
And check this out. Think about how we actually learn. We only remember a tiny bit of what we just read or hear. But look at that massive jump for doing. 90%. That's a huge clue right there. The best way to get better at speaking is to actually speak.
So, if the main goal is just to exchange some info, why does learning a language, especially all that grammar, feel like you're lost in some impossible maze?
This quote just hits the nail on the head. Grammar isn't just a bunch of boring, dusty old rules. No, it's the powerful system that gives our thoughts shape and meaning. It's the queen, and a lot of the time, we feel like we don't know the rules of her court.
I mean, when you're faced with what looks like a giant, endless rulebook, with all its exceptions and weird structures, it's totally natural to feel a little intimidated. It feels like you have to memorize the entire thing before you're even allowed to say a single word.
And you know what? It's not even the super complicated rules that trip us up. Just take something as simple as making a word plural. One man becomes two men. One child, two children. One mouse, two mice. These little exceptions are literally everywhere. It's no wonder we hesitate and second-guess ourselves.
And that feeling of intimidation, well, it can build up into something way more serious. It can become a huge psychological barrier that stops us from speaking at all. Wow, this quote from a language learner, it just perfectly captures that feeling, doesn't it? The fear turns inward. Suddenly, it's not about the language anymore, it's about us. We start to feel like we're the problem, like we're the one who's somehow broken.
And honestly, this is the most important point of all. The biggest wall you have to climb isn't English grammar. It's the wall we build inside our own heads, brick by brick, with every little fear of being judged.
But what if I told you there's a proven way to tear that wall down? It all comes down to the mindset you decide to have.
So some really fascinating research shows that people tend to fall into one of two groups. You've got folks with a fixed mindset who see a mistake as proof that they just aren't good enough. But then you have people with a growth mindset. They see mistakes for what they really are, an amazing opportunity to learn something new. And you know what? The science actually backs this up. Researchers looked at people's brain activity and found that the growth mindset group, they literally paid more attention to their errors. And because of that, they learned faster and with way more accuracy. Their brains were just wired to see mistakes as lessons, not as failures.
Now, this is fantastic news, right? Because it means we can actually change our mindset. So let's get into some practical, real-world tactics for putting this growth mindset to work so you can finally start speaking with confidence.
Okay, here are 6 powerful things you can do. First, get your head in the game. Tame that ego and stop comparing your journey to someone else's. Next, build the habit. Seriously, talk to yourself. And when you're with other people, just focus on communication, not perfection. And finally, change how you see the process. Study your mistakes like they're clues. And please, give yourself some time. Be patient. The biggest takeaway is this: you can't learn to ride a bike by reading about it. You have to get on, you have to wobble, and yeah, you're probably going to fall a few times. Speaking is exactly the same. Saying something, even imperfectly, is progress. Staying silent is just standing still. And let this be the thought that really sticks with you. The only true mistake, the one that guarantees you will make zero progress, is the mistake of not even trying. Staying silent isn't safe. It's a huge missed opportunity. So, I'll leave you with a question.
What mistake will you embrace today to help you learn and grow? Remember, your mistakes are not your enemies. They are your absolute best teachers. Now go out there and give them something to work with. Thanks for joining me.